All right, Infernal Blessings. Back again with another video. Try to keep this rolling. Keep it rolling. Anyway, some quick announcements before I begin. Again, if you want to sign up for the classes that I do offer, just to save the time of having to email me, because I get that email frequently. How can I get in? What kind of classes do you offer? How do I sign up? Offer a variety of different classes on the occult and the left-hand path. We got a bunch of ongoing series. We got classes on Luciferian magic, the Qliphoth, Egyptian vampirism, shadow work, Sith classes on using the Sith philosophy as a left-hand path practice. You name it. Kundalini yoga and meditation and awakening class, which I'm going to be talking about the Kundalini in this video in a minute. I'm trying to think that I miss anything. There's more. Just running a few left-hand path norths and runes class. You name it. We pretty much are covering everything. The esoterical occult Bible study class. These are all ongoing series, by the way. And more. Anyway, if you're interested in signing up for my classes, the best way to do that is to go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, B-A-N-I-T-I. Patreon.com/Baniti, B-A-N-I-T-I. Tier 3 is the way you want to go. Tier 3 gives you access to the 3 private classes I do monthly on Patreon for Patreon members only. It also gives access to the monthly ritual we do at the end of the month as a group. If you are interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different readings, Qliphothic demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings, which is always a good reading to do to see what you got going on around you, things that's going on, and how you're able to pretty much connect with whatever energy you got going on around you in regards to that. Or if you're a newer beginner, it's also a good place, because always people say, how do I begin on this path? Where do I start? What kind of work should I be doing? So it's not just for a beginner at all, because shadow work is something ongoing. When you really just want to uncover the shadow self and see what things you may not be addressing about yourself, etc. Shadow work reading is the way to go. Deity reading to see what type of spirits walk with you, to strengthen your connection with those spirits, and to grow on your path of self-mastery. Also, the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference is in full effect. You can register and sign up for that. We are now registering and signing up. The dates are set, October 19th to the 22nd. So if you got to book flights, travel arrangements, let's do it. If you want to attend in person, or you can attend virtually, shoot me an email and I will send you the information on how to sign up either way. Okay? So you can hit me up for that if you so choose. Also, remember, all this new content and existing content is now being uploaded on the Primordial Chaos podcast, which is on any major podcast platform. Also, the direct link to my podcast is right in the description box of this video. Okay? All right. Having said that, got the formalities out of the way, let's talk about Kundalini energy, which is another trendy topic. I think today I might focus on the Kundalini energy and the chakra systems. But let's start first and foremost, because there's a connection there. But let's talk about this raising the Kundalini energy that everybody talks about, right? Now, raising Kundalini energy, which we like to take it a step further, how we work with it on the occult and the left-hand path, raising the dragon energy, the serpent energy, which is all connected to the Kundalini energy. Now, contrary to belief, right? You hear a lot of stuff. People always talk about, oh, Kundalini energy, it's so blissful and this and that, whether they might be working it through Tantra or maybe sex magic. Yes, there is blissful aspects, no doubt, to Kundalini energy. But there's aspects of Kundalini energy that not everybody talks about when you raise it. It's not always pleasant, okay? If you're doing shadow work And what tends to happen when you've got a lot of internal things you're trying to get in order, you're doing work through your shadow work, through your ritual work, etc. And you might have a lot of internal things that you're working out, sorting out, getting right. Raising that Kundalini energy in what you got going on within yourself can be very intense, can be very painful. It can be painful on an emotional level. It could put a lot of, you can expound a lot of energy mentally, physically. It can, take you to different places in your spiritual experiences that unfortunately are not always pleasant. Now, when we look at this more from an occult left-hand path, especially from the draconian magic perspective, right? Working with the Kundalini energy in the form of the serpent or the dragon is very important, okay? It's a regular practice for us to raise that serpent or dragon energy up. For an example, using our chakra system, starting with the root chakra, and raising that serpent, seeing it at the base of the spine, and bringing that serpent energy up through all the chakras, and it's like a chakra cleansing, Kundalini cleansing, and raising it out through the crown chakra, right? So there's also Kundalini cleansing aspects you can do in your spiritual practice, where you use the serpent energy of the Kundalini and kind of activate yourself or get yourself going in the right direction, especially for an example after when you've done a lot of ritual work. Raising the Kundalini like that is a good thing to do. Let's just say you finished some intense work, or you went through a period where you were doing intense work. And it's a practice, for an example, that can be incorporated that only takes a few minutes. Now, there's a serious awakening when you've really connected with raising Kundalini energy, right? It opens your psyche to a point where you become very aware of things, right? And again, I'm using a word, obviously, that's in the English language that's simple, that most listeners can grasp, but it's a little bit, I'm really simplifying it, but it's a little bit more intense than that. In that awakening process of the Kundalini, there's serious change. You may start to look at things completely different. You may start to feel about certain things. Maybe at one point before you really activated your Kundalini and started to open the psyche, you might have looked at certain things, and that could be person, places, or things. It could be people too, where you start to see things maybe you didn't notice. Things you may like, including people, that might start to change. Because maybe there was some things there, for an example, with people you never really noticed. Maybe you start to see ways about them that you don't really like. Maybe sometimes it's you thought people who were in your circle that were productive, things start to come out that you were overlooking, and you start to see, man, I didn't notice that. Or man, this could be something that's causing a problem for me, etc., etc. That's what a real awakening is. When you start to see things for what they actually are, not for what you want to see them as. Okay, that's a tough thing in spiritual growth. And let me say it again. You start to see things for what they really are. Right, with this term we always say over the years, something goes down, or we're just in a casual conversation, we always say, oh man, it is what it is, right? I always look at that now as it is what it is for seeing things for what they really are, not for what you think they are sometimes. And sometimes when we're asleep, mentally and spiritually, we don't see things for what they really are. Because when the Kundalini is activated, and the pineal is functioning, right? People always talk about their brow chakra or the ajna, the third eye, whatever you want to call it. They were talking, my third eye is open, right? And again, not to be judgmental, but if your third eye is open and then you look at the person and you don't see any type of spiritual evolving or growth on their path, they're living a fucked up life. They're all jacked up on all levels in their personal life, financial life, love life. But they want to sit there and sell you the bullshit that their third eye is open. And it's not to be judgmental, but There's a motto that we try to live by on this path. Okay? You should be a manifestation of the results in the knowledge you claim to have. That's how I deal with people. And I've made this real plain many times over the years. So if you're coming at me to try to give me financial advice, you better have a track record of being an investor, making profit and making money. Don't come at me with no hustle, some pyramid scheme, or some quick flash in the pan, get rich quick money scheme bullshit. See, that's an ignorant mentality. That's a poor man's mentality or a poor woman's mentality. And you'll never get anywhere in life thinking that you're going to be able, there's a quick way out. If it sounds too good to be true, 99.9% of the time, it is too good to be true. Okay? If you're coming to me with health advice, shit, be in physical shape. Don't be having a cough and mucus and you're not feeling well. I'm bringing this up because I've encountered people like this over the years. No exaggeration. I was literally talking to a motherfucker one time. He telling me what herbs I should take for this and that, and he hacking up a lung while he talking to me. That's foolishness. You must be a manifestation of the energy you claim to represent or have knowledge of. Okay? So you can't give advice on shit you're not a living example of. That's my point. Okay? And it's not to be judgmental. I mean, I'm going to listen. I'm going to humble myself if you're working in a certain spectrum of things, like, say, finances, and you're more successful than me, and you got a good track record, you got my attention. But if I know you a cornball hustler full of shit, and you got a track record for always trying to run some pyramid scheme or sign up for me to do this, yeah, I'm not going to look at you with any respect. It's just the way it is. And these are things the Kundalini energy starts to really make you see clear. People don't fool you no more like that. Or I want to just say fool you because that's not the right term. You start to see people for what they really are and about. And sometimes you see things in them that they don't see. And they're not even aware of their shifty ways. Okay? The most intense forms of change when raising the Kundalini energy is you start to really see things about yourself that, could be very painful, right? Maybe certain ways. And it is another aspect or another high form of uncovering the shadow or the hidden self. As I said before, you're going to find just about everything you do on this path, rituals, work, etc., all have some element of uncovering the shadow or the hidden self. And there's intense aspects of uncovering the hidden self. So you might face certain fears, anxieties, certain traumas you might have been avoiding. Because remember, connecting with your shadow work, there is that Kundalini, there is that awakening process. Because when you're tapping into the raw energy of the true self, of who you really are, not who you think you are, because the battle in life and the challenge in life is not live under the veil of the person of who you think you are, okay, but to fulfill your destiny and purpose of becoming and remanifesting who you really are. That's why you're on this path. You're trying to figure out who you really are. A lot of us think we know. We really do. We think we know, but there's layers of deprogramming that we have to pull back and remove from ourselves so we can start seeing things clearly and perceiving things clearly. Okay? And look, you're going to find out you can have many years of experience on this path. Right? It's something, it's an ongoing process that you will continuously deal with. Does it get easier as you get more experienced in age and wisdom? Of course it does. But there's always that addressing the shadow or the hidden self. And look, we live in a society, in a world where everything around us is about indoctrination and programming. So I'm saying this to say, for those that think, well, I did my shadow work, I addressed all my shit, I'm good to go, I'm locked in. Okay, fucking fool yourself if you want. But you're living in a society, in a world where there's forces at play here, seen and unseen. stuff that affects you on a subconscious and a psychological, mental, and emotional level. Some things you are aware of and some things you have no fucking clue. Until you do work to uncover those things that's affecting you that you're not aware of, whether that's shadow work and raising the Kundalini energy. It could be the activation of certain chakra systems that are not functioning properly. Now, I want to address something with that, and I might do a separate video on the chakras at some point, or maybe today. I don't know. I'll just roll with it. You know how I go. I'm just rolling. I'm freestyling. I'm the freestyler YouTube videos. That's what I do. I don't plan none of this shit. Whatever I get inspired to do in these videos, it's on the moment. I get in the car, for an example, boom, whatever first thing pops in my head. But anyway, point being is, when you're dealing with chakra systems, I want to address, you hear statements in certain circles that are incorrect. There's no such thing as your chakras being closed. That's incorrect. Blocked or obstructed, yes. Closed, no. Okay? So sometimes that divine awakening, for a lack of a better word, that needs to take place within, part of those issues could be linked into, let's just say, one thing that comes up a lot for people in readings. This comes up a lot. And this usually comes up a lot because a lot of people deal with high levels of, it could be personal stress, a lot of things here in the mundane world that really cause a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual blockages. A lot of people have issues with their throat chakra. Now, the throat chakra deals with one aspect of the throat chakra, I should say, that's very important that it deals with, is the ability to express oneself. Now, if you are dealing with serious issues with your throat chakra, and maybe you're very introverted, or maybe you're overly introverted, or you're a person that really keeps things bottled up with inside, you could be feeling a certain way about a lot of things. You could be harboring a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, a lot of vengeance, an influx of all those emotions, and keeping them introverted and keeping them suppressed is very damaging to the flow and the raising of the Kundalini energy and your spiritual awakening. Okay? Expression and not being able to have an outlet to express and how to express those energies can cause a lot of serious issues for the individual. And it can seriously stifle your spiritual growth. Seriously. Right? Because I always look at the throat chakra as the bridge. You have the solar plexus and the heart chakra in that area. And I always look at that being the root seat of your passion and your fire. And it's really where you draw your spiritual power from. And then it's driven up. I always look at the throat chakra as being the bridge, like going in, literally driving through a bridge that connects you from one side to the other, because that takes you right into the activation of your third eye onto the crown, right? So I look at that throat chakra as the tunnel or the bridge or the gap to connecting the higher self, for lack of a better word. So what tends to happen is, when you can't get past this, you're stuck like Chuck. And to really awaken the higher self and who you really are, you have to go through a process of addressing what it is that is suppressing you or blocking you or keeping you down. And I'm more speaking when you have issues with expression, which could be in the form of emotional and mental blockages, where and introverted people tend to deal with this a lot. Look, we're all, I believe to a degree, we're all introverted at moments, times. I wouldn't consider myself what one would label as a introvert. I do go through periods where I'm very to myself, though, 100%. Right? But there are some people who are like that all the time. And sometimes that's not a good thing. But the point being is, that could be a serious issue in blocking your divine awakening, for lack of a better word, is the inability for this throat chakra to be functioning correctly, right? So this is why I use the term in the beginning of this video. That's why I'm trying to tell you, not everything about Kundalini energy is pleasant or blissful. Now, there is some really blissful, and I'm using the term again to connect with, some really, I wonderful, for lack of a better word, amazing, whatever terms you want to use, positive experience of bliss that you've never experienced before. No doubt, that definitely happens. Because this is what I mean when I use the term. It's priceless when you really have that awakening, and you really have your spiritual sovereignty and liberty and freedom, and you're living in that free space of understanding that this awakening, you're the navigator of it. You're the one piloting the ship, as they say. And it's a great feeling to get up every day where you don't feel like you're serving anything or you're confounded to anything. And the real Kundalini awakening awareness is you're just so, and again, I got to use terms I don't even like, to be honest with you. You're so conscious and aware, and you got to be careful using conscious and awake and woke, because how that's used in all these fluffinator platforms. But it's just like the inner hearing is crystal clear. Sound is crisp as can be. People talk to you and you're hearing what's beyond the words of just what they're saying on the surface. All right, I'm just giving you an example. This is how intense. So when I say the Kundalini energy awakening can be intense is not just talking about painful intense. Intense also means it's very strong, it's very vivid, right? Your dreams start to go to another level, 100%. A lot of people talk about that. So I'm talking about a lot of the effects and the growth levels you get when you actually are awakening your Kundalini. Real quick, to run your dreams, right? And you know how many times I've run across people over the years in discussions where people said, I notice people with dreams, it's usually one of two. It's usually somebody has very vivid dreams and they dream a lot. And then there's other people who say, I struggle, I can't remember shit. I don't even know if I have any dreams. You do. Trust me, you dream every night you go to the dream realm. It's stored in your subconscious mind bank. You just may not recollect it. But there's people that are either one or the two. Now, the ones in the middle, you don't get too many. Occasionally you run into people say, well, occasionally I remember this, like sometimes this and that. There's never really too much people in the middle on the fence. In this area, it always seems like people that either have intense dreams and can recollect them a lot, and then there's people who struggle or in their mind, they don't have any type of dream recollection. But you know how many people I've run into over the years who started doing Kundalini chakra work, and they weren't having any type of or any high level at all to any degree of dream recollection. Well, that's another strong, intense effect that changes. Your dreams become very vivid. Your dreams become, very clear. Your dream recollection, right? Which is one of the most important things about dreams, right? Because if you can't recollect what you're dreaming, and if there's messages in those dreams, then obviously it kind of defeats the purpose in the sense that you're not reaping the benefits of what it's supposed to do. So there's awakening on all levels. I've even heard people say when it comes to the physical, they started looking at themselves, their body, maybe even their diet, and they got motivated. All of a sudden they got this burst of motivation that they can make the term that it came out of nowhere, but it didn't. Because once the conscious and the psyche is awake, they started to be very conscious and aware of getting in shape and getting their body, for an example, where they needed to want or where they wanted. Now, this is why I'm trying to tell you why this path is so diverse. Now I hope this is just one of many moving forward videos I'll do on stuff like this, but now I hope you understand why I came up with that 5 points of self-mastery with Baphomet and the mysteries of the 5 points of the pentagram. Because everything I'm talking about is in alignment with your whole goal and purpose for wanting to be on this path should be to master yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. It's that simple, people. All right, I will talk a little more on this. I'm not sure today. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a continuation or connect it to something else. I have no idea because I really don't know. I just roll with it. I am at my destination of 9 rounds. I am backing in as I'm talking to you. And I got to get in there and do my Thursday routine. 9 rounds kickboxing fitness, and then I'm headed over to Planet Fitness to do a little weightlifting for about 40 minutes or 45 minutes. I will shoot another video driving from here to there. So that's going to wrap this one up. Again, if you need to reach out to me for a spiritual consultation or a reading, hit me up at khnum19@gmail.com. If you want to sign up for any classes that I offer, I do 3 private classes every month on Patreon, including a group ritual at the end of the month. And the best way to get in on that is go to patreon.com/Baniti, BANITI, patreon.com/Baniti, BANITI. Excuse me. Ooh. And join Tier 3. Tier 3 gives you access to all 3 monthly classes that I do privately on Patreon. Okay? So you can sign up for that. That's the way to get in. You know where to reach me for a reading, any information on the Journey of the Black Adept Conference or any of those things. You can shoot me an email. Also, all the new content's uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which is in the description box of this video. All right, we'll talk soon. Infernal blessings.